Peace, love and light, and welcome to the Gnostic Catholic Union, where today we're going to be discussing the meditations on the Gospel of Thomas and its symbolic meanings. To begin this video, we're going to be using the Gospel of Thomas from the Nagamari Library. So let's begin. These are the hidden sayings that the living Jesus spoke, and Judas Thomas the twin recorded. And he said, "Whoever discovers the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death." So the living Jesus, meaning these are the words that came from the mouth of Jesus while he was alive. Thomas the twin is meant to be Thomas the doubter or Jesus' twin brother. Whether it's Thomas the doubter or Jesus' twin brother, it means those who enact the teachings of Jesus into their life and understand them become like Jesus' brother, resembling Jesus, being like Jesus themselves, becoming Christ-like. So whoever discovers this is the meaning of these texts, will be like Jesus themselves and will no longer taste the world of suffering and ignorance as they've ascended in consciousness. When we practice meditation, this in turn helps us grow. This makes us more kinder, more loving, and more calmer. So this is a personal experience, a spiritual experience that is your own. This is connecting with the spirit within, connecting with God within you. So let's continue. Jesus said, "Let one who seeks not stop seeking until one finds. When one finds, one will be troubled. When one is troubled, one will marvel and will reign over the all." So this meaning, when they discover this text, they'll first be troubled. Then they'll be marveled as they understand the meaning of it and thus rule over what once used to control them. So this is a rebirth of self. So you're no longer of the same conscious level. You're a new being within you. So this also meaning that you've learnt to find the spirit within you instead of searching outside of yourself, trying to live someone else's mystical experience or their personal experience. You're now living your own. Okay. Jesus said, "If your leaders say to you, 'Look, the kingdom is in heaven,' then the birds of heaven will precede you. If they say to you, 'It is in the sea,' then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you. When you know yourselves, you will become known, and you will understand that you are the children of the living Father. But if you do not know yourselves, then you dwell in poverty, and you are poverty." Now, this meaning if your religious leaders tell you that heaven is in the sky, then the birds will get there before you. If they tell you that it's in the sea, then the fish will get there before you. But rather, heaven is within you. God is within you. The Spirit is within you. So, the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, this also means the balance of opposites between air and water. This means the balance within, body and mind, soul and spirit, man and God. This also means when we discover God within us, we're able to build a personal relationship with God. We discover the love within us. When we love one another, God is living within us. This is the perfect union of God working through us, which is love. Love is the transformative power of the universe. This is the transformative process that is within you. This love is God. This also means that without discovering the spirit within, you're not able to build a personal relationship with God. Thus, you're living in poverty as you don't understand yourself, you don't know yourself, you don't understand and recognize the divinity within you and the divinity within all life. Thus, you're unable to see that life is connected, that we are all one within the mind of the Father, that we are all the children of God. Okay, so let's continue. Jesus said, "The person old in days will not hesitate to ask a little child 7 days old about the place of life, and that person will live. For many of the first will be last and will become a single one." So this means someone young can teach someone old can teach someone young. So this also means where the spirit leads us, whether old or young, you can always learn something new. This also means that you find the child within you, your innocence. So when Jesus says those who will enter kingdom will be like children, this means to find the innocence within you, to realize your own divinity, that you are a child of God. Now, another mystic meaning of this text of those who will become first will become last, and those who become last will become first and will become a single one, meaning those who become like Jesus themselves discover the spirit within and will no longer have to reincarnate, but can choose to do so in order to bring gnosis and light to the world, bringing light meaning being a light bringer themselves, thus helping others to stop the reincarnation process, to return to the paroma, thus being a single one, meaning returning to being one with God. Okay, so let's continue. Jesus said, "Know what is in front of your face, and what is hidden from you will be disclosed to you, for there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed." So this meaning to know what is in front of you, to know that God is in front of you. When you look at me, when I look at you, the spirit within us. So the connection of God within us all. So you are God, I am God. Everything around you is God. Nothing can exist outside the mind of God. So this is when the divinity of yourself and others and all life is revealed to you. Okay, so let's continue. His disciples asked him and said to him, "Do you want us to fast? How should we pray? Should we give to charity? What diet should we observe?" Jesus said, "Do not lie, and do not do what you hate, because all things are disclosed before heaven. For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and there is nothing covered that will remain undisclosed." So this means don't do good because you fear God, but because you love God. So you're not doing things out of fear or because you don't want to do them. You're choosing to do good because you're choosing to do good. So this meaning that to realize the spirit within is to realize God within, to recognize love. So you do things out of compassion because you understand life's oneness, the unity within all life. You understand the divinity within all life and yourself. So you understand that doing acts of good is God working through you. So you're acting like the son of God, a daughter of God. So you understand that we are all its children. We are all the children of God. Now, this also means that whatever's hidden from you, if you look within, will be revealed to you. Okay, so next text. Jesus said, "Blessed is the lion that the human will eat, so that a lion becomes human. And cursed is the human that the lion will eat, and the lion will become human." So this means being eaten by the lion within. So being consumed by your hatred, being consumed by Yada Bayoff, your lower self. So one should consume Yada Bayoff instead, rule over it. To rule above your addictions, to rule over your addictions, to rule over the lower self. So your carnal desires, do not give in to them. This also means what we eat is what we become and what becomes a part of us. So the animal we eat, it's blessed because it can become human in its next life. It becomes a part of us. So we absorb its impurities. The lion is cursed because it eats us and absorbs our impurity and thus becomes a man-eater. And thus the human may reincarnate as a lion in its next life. This has many different symbolic meanings. Okay. And he said, "Humankind is like a wise fisherman who cast his net into the sea and drew it up from the sea full of small little fish. Among them, the wise fisherman discovered a fine large fish. He threw all the little fish back into the sea and with no difficulty chose the large fish. Whoever has ears to hear should hear." So this means one has discovered the spiritual teachings and thus has thrown away the little pointless things in life. So the religious teachings that demand you kill, that demand you seek outside of yourself, it's cast it away, not get lost in it. So instead of being lost by a giant wave and being idleless and going nowhere, or a wandering star being led astray, or say wandering and searching outside of themselves when they should be searching inside of themselves, when they discover what's within, they cast that aside. So this is a rebirth of self. This also means when one is able to discern what is good from what is negative, what we don't need in life, and what we truly do need in life, we're able to cast what we don't need aside, and we're able to pursue what we do need. So searching from within, finding the spirit within, connecting from within is how we connect to God. Okay. Jesus said, "Look, the sower went out, took a handful of seeds, and scattered them. Some fell on the road, and the birds came and pecked them up. Others fell on rock, and they did not take root in the soil, and did not produce heads of grain. Others fell on thorns, and they choked the seeds, and worms devoured them. And others fell on good soil, and it brought forth a good crop. It yielded 60 per measure, and 120 per measure. So, this meaning that those who get lost in the religious teachings, the religious leaders, instead of looking for the spiritual meanings of the text, meditating on them, reflecting on them, will be choked up by them, will be drowned in the ignorance of self, searching outside of themselves instead of drinking from the cup from within, the cup of life, the spirit within you, to connect with the soul within you, to recognize the divinity that is within you and within all life. Now, this text also means that those who don't have good fruit, those who don't do good, have nothing good to give. If they don't feel good within, they don't love themselves and don't see the good within others. So they see negative. So if they're a negative person, they only have negative to give. They have nothing good to give. So bearing good fruit, so being a blossomous tree, not a dead, rotten tree that has nothing good to offer except for dead life. So this is about having a new living life, raising above the lower self, so ascending, having a personal relationship with God, with yourself and the spirit within. Okay, so let's get into the next one. Jesus said, I have thrown fire upon the world, and look, I am watching it until it blazes. So this meaning that Jesus knew that his teaching was going to be contradictory, especially to the religious establishment. So it knew it would cause war, it would cause division, because those of the exoteric would be unable to understand the esoteric, to understand the spiritual teachings within. So they continue to search outside of themselves, killing one another in the name of what they claim to be holy, instead of recognizing that all is holy and what is holy is within you. Okay. Jesus said, this heaven will pass away, and the one above it will pass away. This meaning that even when this current age that Jesus was speaking in, his personal heaven, what you see around you, what you feel within, will pass away. But the soul will never die. His teachings will continue. And if not from him, someone else will teach them. This also means when this planet passes on, another planet will form and life will form there. So life is eternal, life is victorious. We can also find this in the Ginza Rubber, text of the Mandaean Gnostics, who follow John the Baptist. So this also meaning that when this earthly material world passes away, that his teachings will live on within us, that the Christ is within all of us, that the Christ is universal. Okay, I didn't realise that the text continues, so let's continue it. The dead are not alive, and the living will not die. During the days when you ate what is dead, you made it alive. When you ate in the light, what will you do? On the day when you were one, you became two. But when you became two, what will you do? So, this meaning that we were once unified with God, then we split, we became two. So, what will we do from here? Will we search to become one with God again, to return to the pleroma? This also means that the ones who die are truly not actually dead. The soul doesn't die. It's only the material body that dies. So the soul continues. It's eternal. Nothing exists outside the mind of God. So when you stand in the light, you are the light. What will you do? Will you continue to act in the image of the animal? Or will you live on and act in the image of God and enact God's will, to enact the love that is within you, that is God within you? So God working for you. So you becoming a child of God. So the son of God, a daughter of God, meaning a human being with a personal spiritual relationship with God. Now, another meaning of this text was originally Gnostic Christianity was one, being Gnostic, gnosis, in a pursuit of spiritual gnosis. Then it became divided. So it's saying, what will you do now? Will you continue to act outside of yourself and continue the separations and cause more division? Or will you search within yourself and become one again? So deriving back to the original teachings of Jesus.